Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media, focusing on the impacts of media on culture. In this series so far, we've looked at the ways in which different types of culture form, and in this video we're going to examine the impacts of the media on the formation of culture. As we know, the different forms of culture are transmitted to individuals through the process of socialisation. Now, this can be done through primary socialisation, usually through the family, or secondary socialisation, which, as media is an agent of secondary socialisation, explains part of the role in how media impacts on culture. But there is more to the role of media than simply transmitting society's norms and values onto a passive audience, especially in the era of digital media, and how the audience can shape culture through their usage of different media sources. Whilst folk and high culture are often shaped by being passed down from one generation to the next, the media has a far more influential role in the emergence of mass culture and latterly global culture. Flew argues that in particular, the new media has the ability to reach a far wider global audience than more traditional forms of media such as newspapers and terrestrial television. The growth of new media has meant that messages can be transmitted from one side of the world to another and be accessed almost anywhere. For example, without new media, you would be unable to access these videos and be reliant upon being present in a classroom where this content is being taught, rather than being able to access it on your phone, your laptop, or other devices. Some sociologists argue that this enables a homogeneous message to be sent out and interpreted globally, which helps to shape a global culture. What that message is depends upon your sociological perspective. Another way that media can shape global culture is through the emergence of participatory culture. New media provides individuals the opportunities to both receive cultural information and shape how culture is formed. One way this can be achieved is through creating content that reflects the norms and values of a specific group, and this may be absorbed into the mainstream culture. However, Jenkins argues that the participatory culture that is enhanced by the spread of new media to different nations can provide individuals with the ability to participate in shaping culture through voicing their opinion. This can be for political matters through online petitions to lobby governments to change policy. It can take the form of digital activism. Movements such as #MeToo and Black Lives Matter have utilised social media to spread messages of social injustice and organise protests and look to challenge discriminatory and illegal practices. Other forms of participatory culture can involve forums and discussion of issues, whilst online campaigns can also change the way in which media represent individuals and rally support for underrepresented groups. For example, calls for greater inclusion of marginalised groups in the media. The new media has the potential to reflect social attitudes, although critics suggest that those who are most vocal on social media, younger generations, are more likely to represent their own interests, which may clash with other, more traditional views in society. The media is also able to create social changes. Murty argues that younger generations who are digital natives and more engaged with new media are most likely to become involved in challenging dominant ideologies pushed forwards by traditional media, and that this can lead to change. This can be evidenced through changes in social attitudes to a range of different minority groups. But once again, critics suggest that this leads to a form of cancel culture. Media observers suggest that this is a defence used against social changes by those interested in maintaining the status quo in society, ones that are opposed to rapid change. However, the impacts of audiences criticising what they see as outdated stereotypes and misrepresentations of groups has become part of global culture and can be evidenced through social media backlashes against those that reaffirm negative and harmful stereotypes. Another way in which media can promote social change is through highlighting social injustice, not only through knowledge of events globally, but also through the reporting of the ways in which people have faced discrimination in society. For example, how incidents of discrimination are captured by individuals on mobile phones and shared widely with a global audience. Another way in which the media can be seen to have shaped culture is through media saturation. Now, this is a postmodern argument that looks at the ways in which the media has come to be the dominant agent of socialisation in society, and how the range of different information presented by the media challenges existing narratives. People are bombarded with information, and as a result tend to form their own opinions and seek out media that reinforces those. Media saturation is a feature of postmodern society, leading to the rejection of meta-narratives, as can be evidenced by debates over climate change, Brexit and COVID-19, all of which have gained massive media attention in recent years. In a postmodern society, there is no singular truth, something evident in a pluralist media landscape. Media also impacts on the formation of identity, and this is reflected in contemporary culture. Whilst critical theories point to the way in which the media creates a culture of consumption, particularly through the promotion of lifestyle brands, Stronati argues that mass and global culture come to reflect who individuals are in their day-to-day lives. The range of media available leads individuals to pick and mix media sources that shape who they are, through music, art, literature, television and gaming. In contemporary society, many media sources concentrate on branding and the promotion of consumption, and this leads individuals to follow suit, aligning themselves with brands that reflect their identity. Finally, there are differing perspectives on the extent to which media has shaped culture. Critical theories suggest that media globally transmits a message that is a form of cultural imperialism, centering on Western values as the norm and other values as deviant. This message is argued to be a tool of capitalism, spreading ideas of individualism and consumption, which generates wealth for the elite and teaches individuals not to challenge the existing order. On the other hand, pluralist media arguments centre on the greater diversity of contemporary media, and how individuals are free to pick and mix aspects of media that suit their individual needs, and so reject the idea of the media sending out a message of cultural homogeneity that is absorbed by global culture. Both of these arguments, however, argue that the media is influential in the development of culture, and in particular how the new media has come to replace other agencies of socialisation, such as education and religion, as the dominant factor influencing culture. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on media, looking at the impacts of media on culture. Thanks for watching.